Welcome to another market update. Today is December 3rd, 2017. It was a wild week, so let's take a look at the indexes here. Even though Friday we have a more than like a 1% dip, and it came back, but you can see on this major market indexes chart here, you see that on Thursday, the New York Composite, the Dow Jones Transportation, the Dow Jones Industrial, the S&P 500, and the Russell 2000 closed at a new all-time closing high. And a couple of days before that, the NASDAQ 100 also did close at a new all-time closing high, but it did not close at a new closing high on Thursday, along with all the other market indexes. And if we take a look at the VIX here, as you can see, the VIX got a big spike up, right, to a little bit over 1450 there. And I was saying that don't be surprised to see a VIX spike coming, a couple of days before this occurred. And I believe the the VIX is going to stay up here for between this 12 and 14 level for a little while, and we might even get to see a spike up to the 17. So we just have to keep an eye on it, because things is getting a little bit stretched, and I think a lot of people is getting a little bit more nervous as the year getting near to an end, and so we just have to keep an eye on the volatility here, and wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more volatility, even though especially during the holiday season with light volume. So kind of keep an eye on that. Okay, before we take a look at the FANG stock, let's take a look at a couple of the ETF for the indexes. First is the SPY. Looking at the SPY here, what we're basically looking at is if it could move up this zone here, somewhere around this 265. If we could move to this zone, then we're basically looking at possibly moving up to this 267 area. But if we come back down to this zone, then we could look for it, probably move back down to this somewhere around 260 and a half area on the SPY. And if we take a look on the Q, okay, the Q, we're basically looking for, if we could get above this zone here, this 155 zone, then we could see this thing might be coming back up to maybe this 141 extension, or possibly get up to this 1618. But for now, we're basically looking for a move. If we get above this zone, then basically come back and test the all-time high. But if it move back down into this zone here, this 153 area, then we basically could look for this thing is possibly moving back down to this 152, okay, into this zone. Right. And then for the Russell 2000, if it come back down to the zone, then essentially we could see it move back under this zone here and back into this range here, and possibly test this low, this 148 area once again, and who knows, it could even possibly come back down and retest this 145. So that's a possibility. And if it continue to push up, then we're essentially looking for this thing to this don't have the 2618 up there. Essentially we'll be looking at the 2618, and let me put this up, and we'll see what that looks like, or where that will go. 2618 here. So, and that'd be basically way up here at 160.64, so that would be a heck of a move. So right now we essentially look to see could it come back up to retest this all-time high, And if it's not, then we basically want to see, would it be able to hold this zone here, this small, basically this breakout level somewhere around this 150 and a quarter, 150 and a half. And if it can't hold this level, then we're basically looking for this thing to maybe work itself way back, back down this range and get back into this 145 zone. So that's basically the ETF for the indexes. And we'll look at the FANG stock next. Okay, let's start off with Facebook on a FANG stock. Facebook here, you can see that it's dipped down into this range here. And if it come back down into this range, then most likely we'll probably see this thing move back down and retest this level down here, somewhere around this 166 and this 165 zone here. But if it could move back up above this this zone, this 177, then we probably could see price maybe move back up, come back up to this 180 and try to get back into this zone and work itself way back up to this 185. Okay, next is Apple. You can see Apple is trying to hold this this support here above this this price zone here, this 168.68. And if we could stay above this this zone, then we could see it move back up and try to test this zone here at 175. But if we get back to this zone here, then we could see Apple might possibly walk back down to this 165 area and possibly test this pivot high here somewhere around 164.94. Okay, next is Amazon. So right now Amazon is sitting right in this price zone here. If it dipped below this price zone, we could see it work itself down back to this possibly this 1144, 1145 area. But if it pushed through this price zone, you can see this thing maybe work itself back up to this 1180, 83, 85, and possibly come back up and retest this 1200 level area here near the all-time high. Okay, for Netflix, as you can see, Netflix is broken down and getting back into this range here. So if it cannot make itself move back above this 191-ish, then we're probably looking at Netflix work itself down to this lower price zone here, somewhere around this 173.70, near this 174 area. And if it could get back above this zone, then we probably could see it maybe try to get back up and retest this 200-ish level, this 202 into this this price zone here. But right now, Netflix look to be more on the downside than possibly moving on the upside. But you never know, anything could happen. And for Google right now is still staying above this zone. If it could stay above this 1025 area, this 1022, 1025-ish area, then we could see Google might possibly come back up to this 1050 and above, and maybe get into the zone and try to work itself back up to the all-time high. But if it break this zone here and get beneath this 1014 or 1015 area, then we'll probably see Google come down and try to fill this gap and work itself down to below this 1000 and get back and retest this 981 area. So we kind of have to watch this zone. I think this will be a critical key levels area for Google to hold. Now let's take a look at a few momentum stock here. First one is NVDA. Right now NVDA is back into this range here, and if it could not get back into the zone, then we'll probably see NVDA work itself down to this 185, to this lower zone here at that 185 area. If it could get back above this zone and get above this 203, then the next level to watch will be somewhere around this 210 area. So right now it seems like NVIDIA also, just like Netflix, it seems to be more biased on the downside than on the upside. So we just have to keep an eye on these key level here on the zone here. If it cannot get above this, essentially this 199 area, then we'll probably see NVIDIA work itself back down and retest this 185. Another momentum name is Tesla. You can see Tesla been chopping around within this range here, And right now we're basically just kind of keep an eye on it to see what happened if it come down here at this 295 area or 295 296 area, and to see could it get a bounce, or when it come up here to see hit resistance and retrace back down once it get up to this 330 area. So right now it's pretty much of a handoff here because it's in the middle of the zone. Okay, the next one is PayPal. You can see PayPal got a big dip here. That's on Wednesday. Now here's the key on PayPal. If it could get back up above this zone, then we could see a move to an all-time high. But if it break below this zone here, this 73 here, we could see it come all the way back down to possibly to this 69 70 area here to test this this pivot high here where it broke out. So that's a key to watch here, because you got a lot of these zones here that could provide some support, and we can't hold these zones, then we're basically looking for this thing to come all the way down to retest this this pivot high here. And recently we see the financial kind of light up the push to help get the market to an all-time high. And you can see on Bank of America, it came up and made a new high up here, then kind of retreat and push back on Friday. Right now, we're basically looking for to see would it be able to hold this zone here to somewhere around this 28 and then push above this this zone at 28.50. And if we could do that, then we probably could see this thing possibly move up to maybe to this 29. To this 1618, 29 and 3/4. There is a high interest, open interest somewhere around that 30 strike, so I might want to keep an eye on that. But certainly, if it get above this zone, we'll probably be looking at somewhere around this 29-ish area here. Okay, if it could move above that zone. But if it dip back below this 2790 or 28 level, then we probably could see it maybe come back down and retest, the 27 area here, somewhere between these two zones. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at for Bank of America. And then the other one is essentially Goldman Sachs. Let me get Goldman Sachs on there. And with Goldman Sachs, you can see that it also pushed to a new high, and then came back down on that that news on Friday. But it did manage to recover and close up. So right now it's still above that zone, and if it could stay above the 250, we're essentially looking for a move up to possibly to the next zone here, which is somewhere around 255, and move up to this particular zone. But if it dip below this 245, then we can look for retracement back down to this zone here, somewhere around this 236, 237 level. Okay, so those are the some of the momentum stock, but a couple stock that I want to just kind of alert you to keep an eye on. Basically, we're looking at the agricultural sector, and a couple of fertilizer stock, Mosaic. Okay, and if you could look at this, and there are some zone here, but the key thing to watch is look at this spacing area here. Right, it could like a little bit of a base area, and if we take a look at the weekly price chart, so we could see that there's quite a price congestion here. Okay, and if we could if you could break above this this zone here, this level, then we could see this thing maybe run up to this 30ish, and even get back up to the 34 level. The other one is potash, okay, and that one have a very nice long base here, okay, at this level somewhere around 1968. This got a 1963 on the upper edge on the zone. So if you watch this for a breakout on this baseline, this thing could move, because here's one level somewhere around 2241. So it's been basing quite a while here since in January of 2016, right? So that's a heck of a long base. I just want you to kind of give you a heads up and keep an eye on this this sector here, the agriculture sector, and a couple other one. You know, with the blue chip is Monsanto. You might want to keep an eye on Monsanto. I probably will you know, follow up on that in the you know, future video, just to see what are some of the development here. So you can see that you know, forming a little bit of a base here, and if we move to this 120, then we probably could see this thing come up and test this recent high. Then the other one is Archer Daniel ADM. Okay, you might want to keep an eye on that one. Also, you see that's a big move on Friday, so you can see a little bit of a double bottom here. You know, kind of got this pivot, and right now it seems to be working toward this this little bit of a base. If it could get to this resistance, it could come up and fill this gap and possibly move up to this 44ish area. So those are the few stocks that you might want to keep an eye on, and hopefully you know, your trading is doing well. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up to give it a like. And if you are not a subscriber to my YouTube video channel, click on the subscribe button at the lower right hand corner here, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you for watching, and good luck on your trading.